Hello everybody, our gardening channel. Today we'll be bringing you with an update on the 1st of May 2024, the best month of the year. Today's weather is amazing, and as you can hear from the background, we have a lot of lightning, and it might actually start drizzling in a little bit. I'm not sure, it's been really thundering very hard. So let's just get into the update. So first here we have our tomatoes. So the tomatoes this year, I really decided to go early on them. So instead of planting them when I would typically would in mid-March, I decided to plant them indoors in early February, very early February. And you can see we have our first tomato sets in May now, which I would have never gotten these if I planted them in March because it's so hot here that nothing will produce in the summer. So hopefully we will get some maybe within 10 days to a few weeks. And I'm really happy with the results. This variety is called Black Cherry, and you can see it's doing quite well. It just needs a little more sunny weather because right now in the spring it can be a little bit cloudy in here in the Central Texas area. So you can see we have more plants, and I have a plant here in the back which essentially is here to see how much production I can get if I do not prune that. And down in the trellis here we have our cucumbers. So our cucumbers, these ones are an amazing variety. I forgot the name of them. It's an Asian variety, and they produce very proficiently, very well. So I'm deciding to collect the seeds from them since these are the last batches of seeds. And yes, this variety is very amazing. And in general, cucumbers and melons do amazing in this area. Now, as companion plants in the area, I do have garlic, which is amazing. I got this one from the big box store, and they've grown amazing along this row over here. They just need sunlight, that's all. And then we have marigolds, which again are amazing for pollinators and they repel pests. Then we have borage, which is amazing for really repelling pests and attracting pests to it, so that it does not harm the other plants, and it brings up a lot of nutrients that can be used later in chop and drop. We also have basil over here, but again, it's been so cloudy that not a lot of stuff has been as productive as it can be. And in this back bed over here, which I've started, it's like a leaf bed. And the reason I did this leaves is because the mulch can sometimes be a little bit harder to grow in than the leaves. So using the leaves, it's easier to dig around as well. So it's amazing. And you can see we have peppers here. We have 1, 2, 3. And this variety is called the Nadapeño. The Nadapeño is essentially just a non-spicy version of the jalapeno. It's like a sweet jalapeno. And I've decided, you can see, to tip their growth today because they were flowering and they're barely the size of my hand. So I decided to tip them, and they should put out a lot of growth. And as always, we have our very healthy asparagus here. At this point, I really don't have it for its production, but I do have it for attracting pollinators, using it as mulch in the end of the season, and it really does not take up nutrients from the area, so it replenishes itself quite well, especially when we give it back its mulch, and it's very amazing for the local ecology. You can see it's lightning outside very much, thunder. It's about to storm, and I can feel the first few drops. Now here we have this. You might ask, what are all these flowers? Well, this is actually a radish plant, and this plant has done amazing in that it really just first of all brings in a lot of the pollinators. The plant itself makes spaces inside of the soil, so it's amazing, and it adds nutrients over time. And the best part about it is that it's really attracts all the pests that would have otherwise attacked my other plants, and it makes them come here. All the moths, all the slugs, all those kind of stuff, it comes to this plant. And it also self-seeds prolifically. Next over here, we have this small plant. Now, I actually threw a lot of seeds, and this was the only one to come up so far. And what this is it's called partridge pea. This one is very good for nitrogen fixing and bringing in pollinators. Though beware, if you want to plant this, it really is a prolific self-seeder. You can see, very small right now, but in a few months I'll give an update and it will be big. Now over here we have our Nikita's Gift Persimmon. This one, unfortunately, has not been doing too well this year. This persimmon is just, I would say the pests and the insect pressure has really gotten to it. It's less fungi, it's more pressure. I'm not sure, maybe it has leaf curl, but a lot of a specific type of insects like to come in here, burrow their eggs inside of it, and after they burrow their eggs and feed on it, a lot of sugars and starches are released, and basically every single insect in the local community comes here to feed on the sugars that are released, including bees, wasps, and whatnot. So it's not really been doing well, but my plan for this one is that just give it a few more years to grow out, and maybe it has so many leaves that the pests can't take it out. Other than that, if this thing does not really improve within 3 years, I might consider taking it out, even though it's a great plant. This year it flowered, but dropped them all. So hopefully next year and the years following it will improve. Now down here we have our, what do we call this? What's the variety name? I forgot it. Violet de Bordeaux fig. Yes, I got this one from a big box store, and it was initially just a small stick. You can see over here, just this small stick. You can see all the way up until here, but it's grown amazingly over the past 2 months, and for only $10, I would say this is an amazing deal. And hopefully, you might say, "Oh, I planted it very close to this persimmon," but these things can be pruned and managed very easily without a fuss at all, and they can be also managed to grow in certain ways. And I know the root systems are extensive, but it's gonna take a while. So, and you can see over here we have our pear. Sorry, I had to kill a mosquito. Okay, here we have our Kiefer pear. Now this variety, I really didn't know anything about it other than that it was disease resistant, but unfortunately later I come to find out that it's not the best variety. Although it is prolific, it's not the best tasting variety. If you live in the Central Texas area, I recommend you highly plant Bartlett pears. Those ones do way better. Anyhow, you can see in the background here, I've taken out the other one. And yeah, it's really, I decided to do something else with that space. And as we go along, we have even more asparagus over here. So amazing plant. And then in the place of that Kiefer pear, I decided to put another fig. So this one is an Olympian variety. I got it from the big box store, but you can see it is a little bit smaller, and that's because I had it indoors. Back then it was a little colder, so I decided not to transplant it immediately. But it kind of just hindered it. But the root system is developed, so don't just judge what's on top of here. It's a slow grower, but it will eventually take off, just like any other fig. Now here we have a flowering plant. This one is doing amazing as well. This one's really amazing, especially for bumblebees, honeybees, butterflies, every single pollinator you can think of, even wasps like this one. And I don't know the name of this variety, but the flower is amazing. It's an amazing variety, and it's a perennial that comes back every year, so you really don't have to plant it all the time. And yes, it's just nothing. I couldn't ask for anything better than this one. So as it's beginning to rain now, let's go to the last portion here. It's about to actually thunder on us, it seems. Let's look at here, this lemon balm. I planted some out front, so I really don't want this stuff anymore. It's really invasive. If you have a small garden, I do not recommend planting lemon balm just like this. It can be really, really annoying. So I'm trying to take it out right now. Slow progress, but I'll probably cover it and take out the rest. You can see here I'm letting some native plants go to seed. And yeah, just because these ones are like the umbrella flowers, so they do very well and bring in a lot of pollinators. And over here you can see we have a lot of our blackberries. Now unfortunately last year the summer was so brutal and I was not able to water, to the point that all our blackberries unfortunately died out completely almost, so nearly to the ground. Some stems were left, but I just had to cut them down to the ground because it was so decimated. So this year we're not getting any production, but at least 3 of our original plants that we did have survived. Well, one of them died, but they send out runners, and this one came up, so that's amazing. And we're not getting really a lot of production, just a few berries on this plant, but it's fine because they'll do even better. As you can see, we're getting stormed right now, so let me get something to cover. Okay, now that we're covered, let's talk about the blackberries. So the blackberries, hopefully they'll grow well this year. I'm managing them better with the stakes, and the canes they're sending out are better than those first year canes that were sent out a few years ago. So that should be fine. And the next thing I have to say is that there are a lot of local dewberries that are similar in flavor, so it's not really a big deal. It's not a blowout. But I just prefer the homegrown blackberries, the domesticated ones, because they are sweeter, larger, juicier. But in the end, blackberry is a blackberry. You can find it anywhere. Lastly, as you can see, our composter here. Our compost is almost ready. It's about to, I'll probably use it in a week or so and just lay it around as a mulch, or filter it and use it as spotting mix. So either way, it's a good win-win situation here. And I'll be making more compost later. Okay, now lastly, before we end this, let us talk about our water system. So as I said, the summer can be really brutal here. So I decided to install this rainwater system from this shed over here. And this one's amazing. It's really just simple, milled, 60 gallons, and it's already full because I really haven't used it a lot. So in the few good amount of thunderstorms we got, it filled it up completely. You can see, amazing, beautiful rain. So we'll be a little bit more secure in the summer now, water the most vulnerable plants. And that is really all for today's update. You can see it's really storming right now. Let me get an angle of this. You can see the beautiful clouds, they're moving along. Seems like we're gonna get a small thunderstorm probably. Small or large, you never know here. It's really unexpected. They come out of nowhere, and it's the monsoon season right now, so we really don't have to water. Everything should self-manage. We shouldn't really worry until late June, early July. And I haven't updated in a while. I keep saying this every time, but I will update more frequently. And thank you so much for watching. And I really hope you have an amazing spring and an amazing growing season. Have a beautiful day, everybody.